you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hearer of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to an A.H.A.D moment, the calm before the storm. Host Minister Idris Taha, and with me today we have Lord Holy-Apostle Deen, Holy Queen Mother A.H.A.D, and our brother and partner in faith, the co-host, brother Fact Abdul Aziz, and I end the day, but we wish him may Ahezaah's peace and other blessings of his presence. Those in our audience today, may Ahezaah's peace and other blessings about your presence as well. It's always a pleasure for my Ahezaah to sit before the messenger and Holy Queen and discuss many topics that one of the things that we try to portray on this program or present on this program is things that you can think about in your daily walk and trying to surrender to the Lord and whatever path of faith that you walk in, and recognize that the Lord is the reality of all, and that we are living in a day and an hour of revelation that the Lord has promised to come. So with that being said, we want to discuss today hypocrisy, being hypocritical, feeling that shit. And I know many times people, especially religious people, the messages have a statement all the time. Some of the most meanest people are the religious people. They're hypocritical. They are self-righteous against others and not take the stance against them own selves, and being fair and just and dealing with people in life and situations in general. So with that, if you got questions out there in the audience while we do this program, feel free to chime in. Only Apostle Holy Queen.
But, first of all, I'd like to say, may Ahezaah's peace and blessings be about the presence of everyone, it's our audience, and the people out in the world. With what's going on today in society, like the perverts is ruling the throne.
Yeah.
Okay. It was written that in this day and time, it's prophesied by Allah through the Prophet Muhammad and others that things would go haywire. So everything will be bad. So, people. Muslims wouldn't even be able to trust one another and things of that nature. Christians, of course, would be the Antichrist, and sodomy and all things of that nature, all the negative things, the perverted things of life would be up front and looked upon as right. The Lord would have us in a state where its anger would be manifested over us in wrath.
Right.
And it said that it would turn the creatures against humanity and the elements against humanity, because it will be angered with us, and it'd be a sign of the destruction that is coming to this world. So we don't know as human beings how much destruction the Lord is going to manifest, but we do know that it has sent the messenger and myself, and it has said to me that some of us will be saved. Personally, I can't see it from what it shows me in the destruction. But see, I don't know, because I don't know where these things that it's showing me is going to actually take place at. How much the earth is going to be bombarded or, taken down. We see that, all the signs of the earth, the decadence of the earth itself taking place, and people want to ignore it. And that's a part of that self-deceit. So what I would like to say is, all you people out there who believe in the path of the way of truth that follow in this dialogue that we present to you,
Right.
Don't be afraid to stand up and say you're an A.H.A.D believer.
Yeah.
Stop being afraid not to associate yourself with the Muslims that you've been accustomed to associating yourself with, because trust me, Islam does not belong to man. Islam is not owned by man. Islam is owned by Allah. It belongs to Allah, the creator El, that is the master of everything. And it has commanded me to tell you that his new name is Ahezaah. And if you look in the book of Revelation, it said that the prophet would have the new name of the Lord. It says his new name is Ahezaah. And it says that you should separate yourselves from the path, from the people of the path of the way that has gone astray from Muhammad's way, who practicing hypocrisy and deceit, to say that they're believers, but to show in actuality that they are far from it, that they are hypocrites, deceit artists, Lazarus, you know, they Lazarus, man. They lazy. They will not step up and surrender to Allah. They surrender to themselves, their own cause, their own issues is most important, more important to them than the issues of Ahezaah Allah. You understand? And they running around here trying to collect the goods while the world is falling down. The goods of life, while the world is falling down, being taken down by Allah. So I would say to you, don't be afraid to step up and say, hey, you're A.H.A.D believer, that you believe in the new covenant that's come down. That, you know, because the more of you that we can gather together, the more I could get Allah's word to you. I could get the Lord Elohim's word to you, because I have a lot of words that are not being gotten to you. Trust me. So, you know, on that, you know, we can go on, you know.
I know.
You know, it's something where Ahezaah clearly manifests to you. And people that watch our show and people that are listening or is here and abroad is going to recognize as time go on that things that we say on this show is so true. Like Allah told us, I believe it was 10 or 12 years ago, but I know it's been some time ago. Allah told us, and the Lord caused Holy-Apostle to put it down in writing, that this day, where we at today, was going to come to be. That the mayhem is going to break out, that the world was going to start crumbling. This country was going to take a big fall, you know. And a lot of times, you know, you could say a thing like for years and years on end, you had Christians always say, we living in the last day. It became a fad like Assalamu alaikum. You know, people just saying things. But Ahezaah told us 12 years ago that the unemployment, everything that is going on, that's taking place, the stock market, everything outlined it clearly to us that all this stuff that's going on now was going to take place. That the children was going to turn against the parents and against their own people. Everything that's taking place, the Lord told us about. And us as A.H.A.D believers should have had to jump on it, should have took it and ran with it. But we, just like everybody else, been sitting back for years waiting for Ahezaah sign, like Ahezaah hadn't given us sign prior to that for what it was at the time. You know, and the thing is that Ahezaah says that truth always rises to the top, right? You know, and the thing is, people have taken what they call religion. But I say what I look at it as, because religion is your way of life. Right. People have taken Ahezaah's word and twisted, turned it, scratched it out, and did everything to it for their own benefit. What they call religion is an institute of money making. You know, you got these ministers that's rolling in funds. They say sinners are welcome. They rolling in dough, taking Ahezaah's word and not giving the truth of it, but disregarding it. Me and Holy Apostle had a talk this week about them talking about the New Testament, right?
Right.
My whole thing is, if you got a new car and an old car, which one you going to favor? Or if somebody tell you, you can have this used car or you can have this new car, which one you going to want? You're going to want the new car. So that's how they sold you on this New Testament, knowing that the New Testament did come from the chosen prophets of Ahezaah. Knew that the New Testament was all mixed up in the hands of the devil and put out here for control and profit. the Old Testament, which ain't old, because Ahezaah, truth never changed. Laws never change. It don't change. Situations change.
Right.
But those things are firm. That's that foundation we supposed to be on. So they take and say, oh, that's in the Old Testament. And come on, if you be true to yourself, how many people really, truly believe that Jesus died for their sins? That we ain't, some of us, we got still a lifetime to commit our sins. And Jesus died and made everything pure. How did Jesus die and make pork pure when Jesus didn't partake of pork himself? What sense, what common sense do this make? But they push it on you long enough, and because you want to be a part of that, you go ahead and feed into it. But come on, let's be real. Now, Lord showing you clear sign. They telling you swine flu don't come from the pig.
Right, right.
Swine can only come from swine.
Right.
Okay?
Exactly.
Now, since they didn't want the pork business to take a heavy hit
Right.
because the society is falling, they don't need the pork business to take a heavy hit. They don't need restaurants to take a heavy hit. See,
Right.
the jinn don't want to take no hit.
Right.
He'd rather see you dead before he take a loss.
Right.
So now they trying to say H1N1
Change
2-1.
name, right, yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
It clearly said they put a poster in the elementary school and said swine flu comes from people who handles the pig.
Right.
So you trying to act like it's the goat herder to go out in the
The
field
slaughterer.
and rob a
And not the
pig
eater.
and feed the pig. Those are the ones catching the swine flu. It ain't you because you burning your pork.
Right.
Pork is pork. Before you start burning, you touching it.
Yeah.
And how much are you killing when you're burning? Come on, let's be for real. But we so involved in what tastes so well, we don't even care about our life. I actually know some ignorant people say, well, you're going to die for something. You say that
that's
now
the
till
same.
you get that death sentence.
That's the same, yeah.
Call me when you're on that deathbed from the damn swine flu and tell me how much you going to die for something. Because see, people say that stuff until they start dying.
I heard something from a sister yesterday, a Muslim sister. I don't know how true it is. So I'm not putting this out as my word like I experienced this. But she said to me and us, you and, you know, to a number of us, that she was at a brother's house, a Muslim brother's house, on New Year's Eve, I guess coming into this year. And he was cooking hog maws or chitlins. Hog maws and chitlins. And she said, brother, what is that smell? And he said to her, sister, I know we Muslim. I'm Muslim, but I got to have my hog maws and chitlins every New Year's Eve. That's me. Or I said, I could believe this. I love it because I've heard some Jews say that they New Age Jews and they eat pork.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm quite sure you got Muslims that still eat pork and say, well, you know, it ain't the worst of the sins, you know.
But let's look at the hypocrisy. They can't tell you a prophet that A.H.A.D.
No.
They can't tell you that, right?
No, they can't even
Now,
see Jesus ate.
Allah told Adam to stay away from that tree.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't partake of that apple off that tree.
And they
right?
ran to the tree.
And they ran to the tree. Now, all these prophets of old never A.H.A.D. But now you're going to put it on Jesus. And he said that this pig is pure. And now you're going to can't give up nothing for Allah. See, that's where the hypocrisy come in. Can't give up nothing for Allah.
Right. Yeah.
Can't give up. But you think you giving your money up for Allah, but you know you ain't giving up your money for Allah. You giving up your money so you could look good with the other fellow members in the church. And y'all giving up your money for the cause of that man and hoping that man do something to make y'all even look better. You ain't giving up for the cause of Allah and feeding people and humiliating them around the time of Thanksgiving and Christmas because they have not. It's not the service of Allah. Why you got to be in the newspaper showing that you feeding a hungry person? What about the pride of that hungry person? You know, so all this is the hypocrisy, but I never seen so many young people, fat, Look like they got pus oozing out of them, standing in these long lines at the truck, ordering tail of ham and eggs.
Yeah.
Talking about, we got to get these young kids on the diet. No, you got to get that PlayStation, that pig from me. Let's start that first. That's half of the diet.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. PlayStation and pig.
You know, one of the hardest things for weak people to do, people that's weak of faith, one of the hardest things for them to do is to accept truth.
Yeah.
And the truth about themselves. It's easy to point the finger at somebody because we have, you know, you got legions of people who want to straighten out everybody else. You know, you need to do this and you need to do that and this. They're always ready to welcome their information about somebody else. But when it comes to themselves and you point out truth to them, they become angry. We had a situation here with a brother in this community who came for help, but couldn't be helped because he didn't want nobody to tell him what to do. You understand? It's like, how could you come for help if you got all the answers?
Yeah.
If you can't hear the truth and accept the truth. Well, the same thing with a lot of people that have sat in this community. They may not have been run out or put out or left themselves. They still hang around, but they got that same malady. They don't want to hear the truth or accept the truth about themselves. And then in their hypocrisy, they say, we believe and we have faith, but they don't make no moves towards Allah.
Yeah.
This is a community where the Lord has centered itself here with us. And it has brought forth clear information, clear guidance and wisdom. And you mean to tell me that it don't work for some people? The Lord works for everyone. So there's no excuse that anybody would have to not make a move, becoming closer to the Lord Most High in realization, understanding, awakeness, enlightenment. There's no excuse. You know, we come to break all the false paths. We come to straighten out all the crooked paths, the paths that's been made crooked from this truth. You know, and the Lord Most High does that in English, in my language, in my mindset. It make it clear to the people. And they want me to believe that they believe and they have faith and they should be trusted and they should be loved when they don't make no moves towards becoming loved by the Lord Most High or favored even more. You know? I mean, it's a heavy thing, but this is the path of truth. This is the path of the way of Muhammad and Abraham and Adam and Ishmael and Isaac and Jacob, you know, and all the prophets of old, the true prophets of old. You know, this is that path, and there's no mistaking it. But see, for the hypocrisy of people, they would let other people come in and pat them on the back and give them praise and adorations that would raise up their ego for the devil. And then they would stand up and say, look at me, I, the great I. When the I am is the Lord itself. You know, but they would take credit of the Lord L's manifestations of its work and try to act as though they're due some payment for it. Or that payment could be you recognizing them or you applauding them or patting them on the back. You understand what I'm saying? Or favoring them or trusting them. You know, when they are the hypocrites. They are the devils, the doers of evils, the devil's advocates, the devil's supporters, you know, by their very acts.
One thing that Ahezaah showed us through a message is, the Queen made a statement before when she said, those who read the holy books of Ahezaah, you know, whether it be the Quran, Torah, the Old Testament given to Moses, and Allah speaking to those who would believe as opposed to those who are on the other side of that coin. Many people of religion today act as though they're the other side, they are the believers. When the book speaks against themselves, against them, and hypocrisy in them, but nobody want to take the book and beat themselves with it. They rather beat other people with it. One thing about the message, because he's a just and fair man. Those who don't know him, if you take time to know the man, you'll recognize that he's dealing truth above all things. It's about Ahezaah first. He'll call you to right, whether in the sweet way, in a rough way, but out of the mercy of Ahezaah, Allah said, those whom in favor, it says in the Quran, those whom in favor, chastise, as a mercy. If we shouldn't go off course, then Allah try to correct you or straighten you out, then he may take that fire to burn, to be reproved, to be brought back to something. Now, those who are sincere would take that and keep going with it, no matter how much it hurt, to keep coming back, because they know that the Lord, but the law let you go astray and error and don't call you back, they know that you're being set up to be a part with the devil and the deuce that are going to be taken down in the hellfire in the end. But nobody wanted to look at that. When Jesus called people in his time, the who went against him with the people in positions of power, religious circles, fought him hard because he called them to them.
Right.
He said he the son of the Lord. He's saying this, but he said, no, you people are fair. You would treat these people right. You would do this, you would do that. But no, we become haughty with our money, taking people from them, not upholding what I either sent down of his covenant. And in that, they went against the Lord El and against his messengers. It's no different in this hour today. Much of what Allah bring forth to the messenger now of truth, it is the people of religion who are the first one to fight, to go against. So he can't be what he said because he called them to me, whether they acknowledge it verbally or in their quiet moments watching this program sitting at home. They ain't talking to me.
Yeah.
They talking to me. But I can't go out there to other people that he's speaking to me. But this is the time Allah said, there will come a time and a day when those who worship the Lord must worship in the spirit and truth. What Allah gave through Jesus. This is the day. The Lord has come down into the world of mankind at this day to bring forth its message for now, that there is a chosen people to be saved in this hour. Now you could take the chance, but don't hearken to the message, or you could take the chance and hey, there's something here. He got something because what he say, I see what's going on in the world and signs. But if you're going to be hypocritical, then you'll sit back and say, hey, he can't be talking to me. I'm all right. It's just that everybody else is gone, you know?
You know, one thing that Allah gave me, and I was like, well, Allah give you so much, and Allah is so clear when it speaks to you.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and when I say that, I'm not saying Allah is going to, Allah gives you a way to understand that it's communicate to you. At least that's what I experienced. And I remember that, you know, when I was practicing Islam in the way of the Muslims.
Right.
Came before us.
Right.
I remember making my prayers. You know, I was trying to learn Arabic, but I never got this far. I barely could speak English,
Right.
but I remember.
Hey, let's keep it with it.
Yeah.
But I remember, you know, making my prayers and stuff. And I remember one day, Allah caused me to get this sharp pain inside when I said my life, my death, my prayers, and my sacrifices all for Allah. I got this heavy pain, and I said, wait a minute, no, it's not.
What a rule.
No, it's not.
What a real right.
You know what I'm saying? And that was such a blessing. Now, a lot of people might be saying, well, that was a curse. Because your life, no, your prayers ain't no death. It's supposed to be for Allah.
Right.
But truly, you look at yourself in the mirror
Right.
for that true reflection. You know darn well for well, you don't get up in the morning trying to make your life for Allah. You don't go trying to make your prayers because you was making your prayers. It wouldn't be about you answering for anything.
Right.
You know, even if you say, oh, Lord, have mercy on me, you still ask it.
Yeah.
And in death, come on. We don't know what we're going to experience in death.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So Allah gave me this pain. I said, oh. And it scared me. And I said, I'm not going to say that no more.
You know,
I didn't care how many times they said this was the way to pray. I'm serious. That's why I said you cannot take things hook, line, and sinker. I said, I'm not going to say this no more because now I'm lying in prayer.
you know, it's something I'm quite sure those who were sincere readers, reciters as the Holy Quran, they might have come to that prayer, to that saying of Abraham,
Right.
you know, themselves, you know, and it may have had some effect on them, those who were sincere. Because I know that coincidentally, you know, that was the one that affected me most too. I was saying my prayers, following what they was telling us to say, and I got to that part and said, my life, my death, my prayers, and my sacrifices are all for Allah. And I said it with earnest, man. And in my heart, it was like I'm going to make my life, my death, my prayers, and my sacrifices all for Allah. And I kept saying that prayer, and I kept thinking inside myself, I'm going to make my life, my death, my prayers, my sacrifices be all for Allah. Then I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. I'm saying my life, my death, my prayers, my sacrifices is for Allah, yet they are not. Same thing. I said, oh, Allah, have mercy on me. Now, Allah was guiding me already, and I believed that.
Right.
And it guided me into recognizing that I had to make the Quran not be so holy away from me, like people do with Jesus and Muhammad and other prophets, but make it become holy in relativity to me.
Yeah.
So I said, oh, Allah, bless me. I came up with my prayers, not what they told me to say.
Right.
I said, oh, Allah, bless me to be like Abraham.
Right.
Please have mercy on me and command my life and make me surrender to thee. Do whatever is necessary to make me surrender to you, Father. And have mercy on me for asking of you that which I have no knowledge.
Yeah.
But be kind and soft to me and bless me to make my life, my death, my prayers, and all my sacrifices be for you, because I want to be all for you. That was my prayer. And see, so many people, they go and parrot the Holy Quran. They parrot the prayers. They take what somebody give them and they just parrot them. And that's why I came up with this thing, parrots and donkeys.
Right.
Because a parrot can repeat what you say, and donkeys can carry many more books than a man. But how far are they getting with intellectuality, with reasoning, with awareness? You understand? So, you got to make the Holy Quran, you got to make what you feel for Allah real and relative to Allah, to Ahezaah. Stop trying to act like Jesus is still here guiding us, that Jesus is going to save you, that Jesus is going to do this, that, and the other. Ali said it best when Prophet Muhammad passed, that those of you who worship Prophet Muhammad know that he is dead. And those of you that worship Allah, know that it is the infinite, eternal being, and it never dies. And that is the one to worship. You feel me? So we got a lot of people that don't break down into their common awareness and common realization the path of the way. And the books or the words of holiness, of the holy.
True indeed. Yeah.
They keep it away from themselves and they practice at a distance where they're not really practicing.
Right. Yeah.
They practice away from it. They look, here's the religion, and here they go back there.
It's almost like, go ahead, going.
And I'm going to tell you one of the key ways we are not here to judge. So I'm going to tell you a key factor in knowing how much someone is going to Allah or trying to stay still, or going away from Allah.
So that thought, I say, okay. Those in our new audience, thank you for tuning in.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed?